Well, Jan Janice, before I start, I just wanna say thanks for doing this because 'cause you're busy.
No,
Doing
yes, but no, but thank you.
well, we'll get into it later, but I know you're in the middle of doing challenges and stuff, like, challenging
I
yourself
am.
every day.
Yes, I do keep busy, but I think the reason I keep busy is because then I'm out of my head and I avoid the thoughts.
Yep,
I don't know
I
if that's
agree.
a good thing or not.
It works. I heard lots of people who don't feel their PTSD until they retire or they stop doing certain things and they get in
Exactly.
their heads, alright?
Yes.
So, Janice, where are you from? Where'd you grow up?
I actually grew up in Northern Ontario,
Ontario.
in Nipigon, up near Thunder Bay. My dad was OPP, so we
Oh my god,
transferred around the province.
I lived in Thunder Bay for a few months.
There you
Uh,
go. So you know where Nipigon is.
I never heard of it. I heard of Thunder
Oh, really?
yeah.
Well, it's about an hour east of Thunder Bay. And if you remember the Sleeping Giant,
I remember the cold winters.
I know. Well, the Sleeping Giant is this massive rock out in the water, and our
Yeah,
house is actually behind it, a little bit off grid.
that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, I like it. But I moved out to Victoria in 1990, and I really haven't left since. I love it out here.
Yeah. Did you have a good childhood there?
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, cop family, right? Dad was a police officer, mom's a teacher, good blue collar, out snowmobiling, ice fishing. We had a cottage we went to all the time, good friends. I was in Sea Cadets, so
Oh,
had
yeah,
lots of fun with that.
that's
Yeah, no,
awesome.
it was awesome. But I didn't, I was ready to leave when I left. I left the day after graduation and came out here and went to military college, Royal Roads.
You went to military college.
Yeah,
Whoa.
I know. Left, right, attention, stand at ease, all of that.
Yes. Why? Wow.
I know.
And, so you after college, you didn't feel like the military was a career for you, or
I think I'm actually one of the few ever in military college to actually pay my way out. I paid my way out in second year and then went to the University of Victoria and got a teaching degree. Because, I want to be like mom. I knew what a teacher does, it looked cool, I wanted to help people because I thought that was my purpose in life. So it was like, I'll be a teacher. So it was awesome.
you went from cadet to military and to teacher?
Yeah. So I graduated with my teaching degree.
Well, you're
However, what really sucked is when I was doing my practicum, my mom died of ovarian cancer.
oh,
So she had just turned 50. And that kind of put me off the rails a little bit, let's say that. The fact that I felt like I wasn't living life to the fullest. So I sold everything I owned and I joined a sailboat because I knew how to sail. I
right.
joined a sailboat in Australia and hitchhiked around the world on sailboats for a couple of years. It's kind of a little bit of an escape. I ran away, let's say that.
Starting to wish your life was a book. Be an interesting
Well,
read.
oh, I had fun. I get itchy feet, Jamie. I get itchy. It's like, okay, I got to go do something. And I just go do it. I'm a bit impulsive sometimes that way. Right.
I married one like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So I sailed around the world for a couple of years and then I ran out of money in about Brazil. So I went from Australia to South Africa to Brazil. And then I was like, oh, bummer. I need some money. And I found mega yachts. Have you ever seen those shows where they have the big white mega yachts, like 100 feet or
Yes.
bigger, and the crew are wearing like white shirts with little epaulets and stuff?
Yes.
I did that.
Really?
Yeah,
Because
I
I
worked
see
on.
shows like that now on
I
a tablet
know.
or whatever. I was about to
I
say on
know.
TV, but it's on the apps now.
Well, there's a show called Below Decks. That's exactly what I did, and I met my husband. We were a boatmans. So he was the engineer and I was the first mate, and we have now been married for 21 years. And
Amazing.
people say boatmanses don't work.
Well, looks like you're still on a boat now.
Well, this is kind of what happened when you get PTSD, right?
Oh,
So I came back from boating, pregnant, in a motorhome with a Camaro. It was a bit weird, very pregnant. And I didn't have a job
mm,
and I basically was a non-resident of Canada. So my husband, or sorry, my sister's husband at the time goes, why don't you be a cop? And I was like, huh. My dad was a cop. I know what cops are like. So I became a cop, a police officer.
whoa.
I know I never wanted to be one or anything. It was just the opportunity was presented to me, and I went, "That sounds like fun. I can help people. Give me that sense of purpose of needing to help people, right?" And so I did. And 18 years later, I live on a boat, diagnosed with PTSD. There goes my dog chasing after seals.
Nice.
And I control when I go out in public and when I'm not. And I am on a journey like all of us, like you're yourself on a journey to manage PTSD and hopefully get better.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
you were a cop for 18 years.
Yeah,
All
crazy, eh?
in Ontario?
No, I'm Victoria, Sandwich
Victoria.
Police. Yeah, I'm a police officer out here with Municipal. Started off in patrol. I've done traffic. I did street crime unit, which is some undercover surveillance stuff. And then probably what hit me
Undercover
the
stuff.
most was detectives. Yeah, undercover stuff. I was like the best soccer mom ever. Seriously, give me a minivan, drive. I was driving around a minivan. No one knew I was following people.
Really?
Soccer mom. Mhm. Yeah, I could walk right up to you and have a conversation. You're like, yeah, there's no way she's a cop. Like, yeah.
Well, sure.
So
It sounds like undercover though. When I think undercover, I think stressful. It had to be stressful.
it was stressful. Yes. I think working in the whole police community is stressful, if you ask me. We
Yes.
are definitely a dog eat dog world, but we've got each other's back. So we're very competitive with each other, but I will step in front of a bullet for my brother or sister, which is very weird way to live, right? And also with undercover stuff or with street crime unit, I never knew if I was going home. So I had my husband trained, who's civilian, which is very odd, that if I called, I said, not coming home, click. And he was really good because he wouldn't tell me that he was worried or something, anything. But it wasn't until 18 years later, right now, where I'm off work, that he goes, I'm actually really glad you're not policing anymore
Yeah.
because it put him through the ringer with the kids and everything because I do have two children. So, but I think the worst was detectives, like working those really big files.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. But with PTSD and as a police officer, it's trauma every day, right? And it just builds up. So I always compare it. It's like when I started my policing career, I was like this really big red balloon full of air. Right? It's like, yes, I'm gonna go change the world. I'm gonna go help people. It's gonna be amazing. Can't wait, right? But as you go through the career, as you give, a little bit of air, right? A little bit of air. You hear that balloon sound coming like just a little bit of air every day takes it out of you because I was really the people's stories really touched me. I really became a part of them, right? Like I really took on those feelings and stuff. They don't train you at the beginning how to deal with that, right? You don't get that training at police academy. So every time, a little bit there, a little bit there, until it's absolutely empty, which was about a year and a half ago. My balloon was empty. And then, unfortunately, but this is how police departments work, they took my balloon and they throw it in the garbage and they find a new red balloon. So now I'm sitting here in the garbage going, okay, what now? Right? You told me, like my psychologist says, I can't be a police officer anymore. I've lost my sense of purpose. I I was just like literally lost, floating, didn't know what to do with life and not knowing what was happening. Right. So it was my responsibility to start filling up my little red balloon again. Okay. Because police departments don't know how to do that. Right. They talk, but they don't walk the walk. So that makes sense?
Yes, it does. 100%.
Yeah, that's kind of I think in metaphors. So
No,
yeah.
I felt the same way overseas.
Yeah.
I'm a veteran, and when I was in Afghanistan, when I got there, I wanted to help everyone. Then you get shot at, and someone dies that you know, and then there's an explosion, and you're like, I just want to get the job done now and get the heck out of here, right? And
And you feel every one of those. Like they really affect your heart,
well, yeah,
right?
for me, we went down to some villages, and you really get to know the Afghanistan people. I mean, like, and really feel for them, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
Oh,
You can't help. We're human, man. You can't help it. Jamie, my dog is barking at me.
yeah.
I don't know if people can hear her in the background. She's my Mexican rescue. I'd be absolutely lost without her.
Mhm.
Right? She goes everywhere with me, but she just ran outside on my boat deck and barked at seals, and now she's stuck outside. So give me 10 seconds to grab her and lock the door so she cannot chase seals anymore.
I have two dogs, so I know all about it.
I'm back. Sorry about that. She's crazy.
No worries. I have to ask,
Yeah.
you had 18 years in the police service. No doubt PTSD. That's a lot. That's 18 years. I myself did 24 years in the military. Is it? Do you think the PTSD comes from just 18 years of service, or do you have like certain moments that stick out that really you think brought the PTSD on?
Well, I've been really very lucky because I've been working with wounded warriors. And that's the, filling my own red balloon. So I reached out to them by
Warriors.
myself.
I know them
And
well.
wounded warriors, and I've been working with them, and they helped me go through some trauma. And now I have a great counselor I deal with.
Excellent.
So we have certain traumas that we've worked through. So we've gone back to like the earliest one was probably 2008, where so in our police department, we have a front desk that's always open, right? Like we are open 24/7. And we always have a police officer at the front desk. And it was always a position where you just kind of took a break. I could catch up on my paperwork and everything like that. So I'm in uniform, I'm at my front desk, just chill and get my paperwork done. And I like the front desk because I can always go in and say, hey, how can I help you out when people came in? Like it was kind of just a change of pace, right?
Yeah.
So I remember seeing this guy walking down the hallway towards me. And I was like, this is odd. Just looking at him, right? I was like, okay. So he comes up to the front desk and I come out from the desk. Like not the front desk, but I come out from the desk behind the front desk. And I come out and say, hey, how's it going? How can I help you today? And suddenly he lifts up his shirt, grabs a gun from underneath his shirt, and just pulls it out and points it directly at my face, right through my eyes. And all I remember is I'm not going home. Actually, I separated myself from this. This is how I explain it to people, because this is what I did in policing is I was there, but I was up above also yelling at myself. So here's me up above me saying, Janis, dive, go, jump out of the way, do what you're trained to do. Right. And he's standing there looking at this gun going, I have no fucking clue what to do. Yeah. Right? I am not ready for this. And then me yelling at myself, like I was having a huge yelling match at myself. And then it was over, right? It was so fast. But to me, it took forever. And I don't think I dove to the side or anything or got out of the way. All I remember is just looking at it, just kind of like, wow, this is happening. And he takes it and he slams it down on the desk in front of me. It's just like a big boom. And he says, I want to turn this in. And I'm like, I just didn't know what to do. And I'm like, and he's laughing. I can still hear, like I wake up at night hearing his laughing, right? It was just, he thought this was so fucking hilarious, Jamie.
Yes.
And again, I'm only 4 years on the job at this time, right? So I'm like, thank you very much, as I put my hand on the gun, right? And it wasn't later that we found out it was a pellet gun, but the thing looked real, right? And then he walks away laughing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, have a good day.
Well, yeah.
And then I look at my staff sergeant who was just there and I'm like, did you just see that? And my staff sergeant goes, oh, it's okay. That's just Sid. That's normal.
The
and
fuck?
I'm like, well, this is it. I didn't know. So in my head, I'm like, I should arrest him. But my staff sergeant was just, it's nothing. And I'm
this
like,
is normal? Like, fuck.
So
let me
that was the problem.
Normal, Sergeant.
Well, this is the problem, right? It's like, and I think what the staff sergeant was doing, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. He was trying to talk the situation down a little bit, make me feel better, right? But meanwhile, I wanted to run after him and arrest his ass.
Yeah.
So, and it was just that. And I think this is part of the PTSD is I ended up questioning myself and my instincts then, right? Yeah. So I wasn't able to let that emotion roller coaster go through the whole motions. Like I wanted to cry.
Yeah, I bet you did.
But meanwhile, I was being strong and pushed everything down. And this is what happens in policing, right? You take that emotion, you don't let that emotion carry through. You just keep squishing them down, you squishing them down, you squishing them down. So it's only now that I can talk about that And I remember going to Wounded Warriors, and I used it in my trauma resiliency program level 2. I told that story.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize how mad I was about it. I was actually standing up in the circle, swearing and yelling. And it wasn't until then that the emotion was actually able to follow through, that I can actually talk about it now with you. Prior to that, there's no way I could talk about this because I was so mad at myself, but I was also questioning and wondering if I was actually made cut out to be a police officer. Right? And questioning my morals. Like, it was just a very weird situation. That's
Well,
what
the
happened.
sergeant saying what he said did not help. I'm sorry.
No, it doesn't.
That made it,
Right?
to me, twice as bad.
It did. And I don't think they meant it that way, though. And people don't realize
Yeah.
that it was kind of stopping that whole emotional roller coaster I was on. And that's what happens. Like, we're not trained. Police are not trained to deal with this. I'm sorry. Right? Like, I would love going to a shitty situation and you come back for a debrief, which we always did, right? Instead of saying, well, you should have done this and you should have done this and you did this wrong. I want a staff sergeant to sit up there and say, I was fucking scared.
Mm.
And then everybody else, all of us go, oh, thank God. And we all just kind of let it out too.
Yeah.
And they used to do that in the old days. We used to go like in the back gym or in out to the bar, and you used to sit there and you wouldn't talk or anything. You just sat there and had a beer with people, and you knew that it was crappy. But we don't do that anymore. We're not letting those emotions go through, and we end up just going home feeling like a piece of shit because we did something wrong, or running the incident in our head constant loops, which is what I do, thinking I should have done this, I should have done this, I should have done this. Oh my gosh, I did this, and maybe I affected that person's life. And that's where I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning all the time, running those incidents in my head that
That's your
I
mind
screwed up.
processing it all. Your mind is still
It is.
processing because it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. And that's what
A
goes
dude
on,
just
Jamie.
walked in, pointed a gun at a cop, and then slammed it down. Listen, I grew up around guns, and if you pointed a gun in anyone's direction, my dad would whip your ass. We grew up that way. That's a big safety infraction. I mean, that sergeant, has that sergeant ever been on a range? I've kicked people off the range because you've pointed the gun at somebody. Like, holy moly.
But technically it was a fake gun.
Yeah, right on.
That looked real.
Right
Yeah, no, it was just a weird situation, Jamie. It was like yesterday. Okay. I do weird things from PTSD. I call them weird. People don't get mad at me. It's like, oh, they're not weird, they're normal. No. I call it weird because for me, it's out of my normal behavior prior to the diagnosis or prior to PTSD affecting my life. So I call them weird. It helps me manage them. Right? I try to laugh about things. Same as you, right? We try.
I laugh at everything.
I'm sorry. It's weird what I do sometimes. But anyways, I hate grocery shopping. Hate it. I don't like going into stores.
Yep.
Because I'm so hyper vigilant. I look at everybody. I look at hands. It's exhausting.
It's amazing how many people are triggered in a grocery store.
Oh, it's so
My
tiring for
first
so many
ever
people.
panic attack was in a grocery store. And I was like, I think I'm having a heart attack. I passed out. I don't
It's
even
horrible.
passed out. I was like, I thought I had a heart attack. No, you had a panic attack. I said, what the fuck? The fuck's a panic attack?
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, sorry.
I was in the back of Costco crying just before Christmas. I tried to push myself.
You went to Costco?
I know. Because I keep trying to push myself.
Yeah.
I want to get back to how I was.
You go alone?
No. Pardon?
Did you go to Costco alone?
I did. I don't ask.
Fucking sick lady.
I know. I was seriously in the back of the aisle crying. Like, just like breathing, going.
If you see me in Costco, why? Okay, I'm just gonna put that out there. If you see me in Costco, anyone, I probably just smoked a joint in the parking lot and I'm in there now. Okay, I need it to go in there. I can't handle it.
Oh, it's bad.
Yep.
It is bad. Well, yesterday I go in so usually I order online. I drive my car in, and the nice people at Save on Foods brings my food out. They put it into my back of my trunk and I drive away. I don't even go in.
Right.
I do everything online. My daughter, love her dearly, wanted chicken nuggets that I had not ordered. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to be a good mom. I'm going to go in and get her these stupid chicken nuggets. Right? So get in my car. I go in And what is the first thing I see? 3 stupid teenagers, 15 and 16, running around shooting each other with black guns with those stupid suction cups coming out of them. Oh my, I just froze. And then I looked at them and like, hey, you bunch of numpties, put those away now. My cop voice came on, and I'm not even policing right now. And they look at me, I'm like, they look fucking real, you idiots. Right? Kids are just like, they're like, oh yeah, you're right. They shove them away. I'm like, but it took me a good 2 hours after that to just breathe deeply again and just to stop. Like I was vibrating.
Yeah.
Right? Like my mind was just like a hamster on a wheel. I could not stop. And I got into my car, and of course, I should try to speed limit, but because I was so ramped, I'm like flying down the highway doing 30 kilometers over the limit. I'm just like, okay, I need to I don't even know what to do.
Yeah.
I did go get a cup of tea, which is probably the best thing for me because I usually have tea. It grounds me and centers me, but threw me right for a loop yesterday. And of course, I wake up at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, seeing these 3 kids running around shooting each other with guns in a grocery store.
Yeah.
I'm just like, yeah, it's not fun, Jamie. I'm sorry.
Oh, see, that's it. But people who don't deal with PTSD don't realize when you're triggered and you start showing emotion, it's not really at the person that caused the trigger. You're just reminded us of one of the worst moments of our lives. And we have thought about that moment for a long time. And everything we wanted to say to them, we might say to you now.
Yep. I was actually quite polite to them. I was surprised. I could have really gone off, but.
Yeah.
And you know what? And I don't know if it's the same with you, Jamie. Smells are the worst
Smells
because
and
you don't
sounds.
know when they're coming.
Smells
Yeah.
and sounds are the worst.
Yeah.
I
I
have
was
a big
walking
nose.
down.
I have a big
Oh,
nose.
hey, me too. Me too.
Oh,
It's okay.
I
Good old
breathe it
English
all in.
noses.
Breathe it all in.
Yeah, but yeah, I was walking down and suddenly someone had a candle or they were wearing something like it was like a forest and it mimicked exactly of this one time I was hiding in this forest trying to hold this guy at gunpoint. Like it's just, and again, it just hurts and you don't know when it's coming. Like you can't control it.
Yep.
Right? So I do not like not being in control. So I was videoing, you would have laughed at me. I was videoing yesterday. So I have a YouTube channel called Finding My Happy. And
Say
it's
it
all
again.
about finding my happy.
I just want to make sure everyone hears that. Finding my happy.
Finding my happy. Because happy Janis got lost a little bit in my last 5 years of policing. And so I'm trying to find my happy Janis again. So it's all about my journey with PTSD. And I'm just about to put a video out. And I know some people are going to get their noses out of joint. They're big, like our big noses. Because I'm going to call it 5 weird things I do because of PTSD. And I was filming one of them, and it is, I don't know if you do the same thing. It is restaurants I was filming.
Okay.
When and if I go into restaurant, there's certain things I have to do. I walk in, I scan that whole place as soon as before I take like 2 steps in. I know everybody, where everybody is. I can see all their hands. I know who's a danger, right?
Yes. You look for the threats.
You look for the threats. It's exhausting. And then I look for the perfect table. Okay, because there are certain tables I will not sit at. It has to be in a corner. My back has to be into the corner or against the wall, and I have to be able to see the whole restaurant. And people cannot walk behind me.
Yep.
And I drive host and hostesses nuts because I'm like, I can't sit here. I need to go over there. And they're like, well, that section isn't open. I'm like, and then I have to leave your restaurant. I'm sorry. I don't really explain why. I can't, like, I don't tell them I have PTSD because I don't like doing that. I don't know if you're the same way, Jamie. Like, I just don't. Right?
Well, I haven't spent much in Alberta, but when I lived in Newfoundland, I wrote a couple of books and I was on the news a lot. So everybody kind of knew me as the PTSD guy.
I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
Well, you know what? It was good and bad. I do love talking to people about their PTSD because I want to help them. But I do like talking about other things.
I know. I don't want PTSD to define me as a person.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want it to be my thing.
Yeah.
Right?
And
my thing is I'm a mom, I'm a sister, I'm a wife. Like, those are my things. I'm not a person broken with PTSD. And I know I'm using the word broken. But
My favorite thing in
That's
the world
how,
is being a dad.
what, sorry?
I said my favorite thing in the world is being a dad.
See, that's what we want to be defined by, not that we have PTSD, because we're learning to manage those. It's just
Yeah,
taking a little bit, and you and I both, we laugh about what we do because I think it's hilarious.
I do. I laugh at almost everything now. I laugh at
Yeah.
myself the most.
Oh, my husband, especially with the restaurants, he is so good now. He just stands back and he's like, I'm just going to stand back and let her sort out the table and the chair and everything
Mhm.
because I totally need to be in control. And it's not just a PTSD thing. Have you ever seen four cops try to go for a dinner together? They're all fighting over the same chair. Like no one will sit with their back out to people, right? It's funny.
I'm a veteran. We're the same.
I know. Can you sit with your back towards the door?
Not usually. No, no. Uh,
No,
I and I don't bring it. You're right. I don't bring it up. I don't.
no.
Right. I just find my way around. Um, it has happened, and a lot of times when it's happened, I usually concentrate on my kids. My kids
That's
are
a good
usually there with me.
manage. Yeah, that's a good way to manage it.
I don't want my kids to
So
know, but they help me so much.
I
They're such a
know.
fucking pain in the ass, though. But hey,
Yes, they are. Love them dearly, but man, but that's kind of our new purpose, right?
yeah, yeah.
So, but I think the biggest change in my life since, and you know what, I did this before PTSD. So it was, or before I was diagnosed. I knew something was wrong, but I couldn't figure out what was wrong, and I just didn't want to admit it. I don't want to be the weak cop, which I think people judge me about, but I know they don't. It's just in my head.
You knew something was changed while you were still a cop.
Yes, because I started forgetting things.
Mm-hmm.
Forgetting, overwhelmed. I couldn't get my paperwork in. I couldn't, people would talk and do a whole conversation and I'd miss pieces of it.
Yep.
Absolute pain, like chronic pain. I was in, like, whenever I was at the police department, my back just started killing me. Like, my body was telling me, okay, Janis, you are in an unsafe position right now. You need to exit. So, one of the things it does is it hits me with pain stimuli.
And pain goes really well with short fuses.
And that's the thing too. I was so mad.
Yep.
All right, I'd come home and snap at my kids and snap at my husband, and
Yep.
it's just not good. Like I'm surprised I'm still married sometimes. Like I'm
Me
like,
too.
how the heck did you deal with me?
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah, it's just. But when I went off work, so let's think. December, I went off work December 2021. January 2021, for some reason, I looked at my husband, actually December 2020, and said, I need to live on a boat again. No clue why, right? I lived on a boat before, but I knew that I needed to get off of land, out of a house, and back into living on a boat. And I'm very lucky that my husband used to live on boats too, and he loves boats. So we bought a boat and I moved out onto the boat and my pain went away. My central nervous system could relax. I wasn't so hypervigilant and I could just breathe. And that's when I went, this is interesting. And that's when I actually said, okay, yes, my doctor said, yes, you possibly have PTSD. And because you're on a boat, and when my boat is anchored in the middle of a bay in Victoria, British Columbia,
Right.
like you cannot come to my boat unless you come by boat or swim. Right? Like I totally control my surroundings and I have massive windows all around me so I can always see 360 degrees. And it is my happy place. I can relax here. My central nervous system can just, and my window of tolerance, I call it, opens up a little bit, and I'm not going through my highs and lows so much out here. So I control when I go to land. I control when I see people. I can manage my symptoms out here. And like my husband says, he is starting to get his happy Janis back, which is huge. And my kids and I have the best relationship ever now, right?
Sounds
Like we're
amazing.
constantly hugging and like, you know, hanging out with each other. I went skiing with my son. Like he wants to hang out. So you had to make that life decision. Yes, I'm not a police officer, but which was like shitty. And I'm still kind of going through that. But I need to take the big book of life and turn the page. I need a new chapter. And that's kind of what I'm going through right now. And I know if anybody else where you walk out a career like veteran or something or military, what happens is that you thought that defined you, right? I was believed like I'm a cop. That's who I am. I wasn't a mom. I wasn't a sister. I wasn't all that. I was a police officer, right? Enough that changes your name, gives you rank. I'm Constable Carmina. So to suddenly say you can't do that and take it away from you, you're a little bit lost and floating and lose that sense of purpose. And that's what I've really been working on over the last years to find that sense of purpose again, to find out who I am.
Yep. I struggled with that myself, releasing from the military. Who am I now?
Well, that's exactly who am I now, right?
Yeah.
Like I was, military. Were you Army? Navy? Or were you Army? Right? Like an Army is a huge brotherhood, right? It's like it totally defines you. Like, wow, sorry, I'm thinking American shows here, but like I was Navy for a while here, right? But I would do anything for my brothers and sisters in the Navy, right? The police are the same way. You've got that command structure. You have that sense of belonging, right? They strip you of everything personal. They give you uniforms. You're just like everybody else, right?
Yep.
You have that schedule, that consistency. You know what to expect, right? And it's just a sense of, what would the word be? Calmness, sense of belonging. Yeah, I guess it's really the only way to say it. And suddenly, when that is taken away from you, and you're like, but I want I want my badge back. I want my uniform back. Like, I don't know what I am now.
Yeah. I realized I didn't miss the uniform. I missed just time with the other soldiers.
Yeah, the camaraderie.
Yeah, that's it. Right.
Yeah,
I was
I
about to
miss
say
that.
time with the boys, but no, I've known lots of great female and general neutral soldiers too. I mean,
You can still call us boys. It's okay.
right, yeah. Yeah,
But
but
it's true. It's a tough one, Jamie. Like,
yeah, I think I was
and
missing the army even in my last 3 years in the army.
yeah, because you had changed,
Yeah, well,
right?
I was in the office, or I was driving colonels, and there was no in the field no more, no more with the guns, and I was like, this is not what I joined the army for.
I felt a little bit lesser when they put me in an office. I
Yeah,
wasn't being a cop. Like I wasn't out driving my car. I wasn't out putting bad guys in jail, right? That's what I was meant to do. And suddenly you put me in an office. You're like, but like, why am I even carrying a gun anymore? This is stupid. I'm never going to use it,
yep. I didn't
right?
join
It's
the
like,
army to work this keyboard
no.
or this
So
mouse. The trade.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I think the biggest thing right now is finding my purpose again, and that's where I'm at, Jamie. So the YouTube video channel is great. Finding my happy. I love that. I had another YouTube channel, I still do, about living on a boat. That's where it started. I started doing YouTube videos
yep.
about living on a boat because I needed something to do because I wasn't working.
Mm,
And I didn't realize that to deal with the PTSD, that creative outlet, that making videos and blogging about my life
mm.
was amazing. And I like putting myself out there because I know again that I'm helping people. I get those messages back saying, "Oh, Janis, I'm living vicariously for you," or "Oh, Janis, that's awesome. Thanks for entertaining me for half an hour." Right?
Yep.
So
You're showing
finding my
people PTSD information. You're showing beautiful pictures of nature and the water, and that's
yeah,
things that people are really looking for right now.
exactly. So finding my happy is all about me pushing myself to try new things, and sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad. Like I was
Janice, the
videoing
influencer. I
oh,
only learned that. I only learned that the other day, Dad. Or
as an
my son.
influencer.
Yeah, my sons are always updating me on the stuff that now go right.
Yeah.
And
Well, last Monday I did a sensory deprivation tank. That was stupid.
really,
Have you ever done one of those?
no, I want to.
Oh my gosh. Well, you should just go try it. So I'm like, I'm videoing me doing this, right? I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try this. I get in the
Yes.
tank. First of all, I have to close the door. I hate being in enclosed places. I hate it so much. But I'm like, breathing. Okay, Janis, I'm gonna do this. And then there's like no sound. You're floating, so you're not touching anything, and it's dark. So the sensory's all gone. And you know what happens when you're not busy and you're not bringing in everything in your senses?
Uh,
Come on, you're in your thoughts.
mm,
I do everything I can to avoid my thoughts, and suddenly I'm putting myself in a situation that my thoughts are like all that I can think about. And I just went into this story in my head, and I've got the video camera running because I just threw up a GoPro, and I am crying, and I'm like, okay, where's my counselor? And she's not there. And I talked to my counselor after. She's like, "Yeah, Janice, you should not have done that without having a counseling appointment very close because they're actually looking at sensory deprivation tanks with PTSD survivors, but with a counselor also because it takes away all your senses and that you're in that moment. It is wild. So that video will come out soon. We'll see how vulnerable I actually want to be.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be checking that out. That
Yeah,
sounds amazing.
it's
I always want to
interesting.
try one. I've heard good things.
Go try.
Yeah.
Maybe be high as a kite before you go into it.
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
I'm kidding. It's
Well, I usually am. Doctor's orders. No,
well,
I'm.
see, I don't have that because morally, to me, marijuana is still legal. 18 years of taking away pot and ripping grow ops. I can't do that in my head. So I was looking at my husband. I'm like, we should do a video of me trying marijuana for the first time.
Why not?
I think it'd be hilarious.
Yes, it's only for fun.
It's what?
It's only for fun.
Oh, I think it'd be hilarious.
It's hilarious.
But
Yeah.
like, let's do some gummies. He's like, okay, let's do it. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. We'll wait till the summer where it's warm out.
Yeah. Laughter is the best medicine.
I think so. And that's what finding my happy is all about is trying new things and whether sometimes it goes good and sometimes it goes bad. And then that's what happened with finding my happy. I was like, okay, the other thing I needed to do was find something to do that I don't trade my time for money and I can do on my boat, right? Because I need to find a career. So I also wanted to help people. And I was like, well, I'm trying all these new things and pushing myself. The last 3 years with COVID have sucked, like royally, like people not leaving houses or anything like that. So I started what's called the Live Your Life Adventure Challenge. So every month we do a different theme. And this month coming up is called Get Off the Couch theme, right? So we're challenging people to, well, first of all, you sign up, we send you free swag because I love sending free stuff to people, right? And then you go do 5 challenges, and it's not like jump out of an airplane or anything like that, Jamie. It's what challenges you to get off the couch, whether that is going for coffee with a friend or going for a walk in a new park or going to, like, I went to a candle making class, right? Go do that 5 things for the month that gets you off the couch. You take a quick picture of it, you upload it to an app, and then as soon as you do 5 things that pushed you off the couch, we send you a custom challenge coin because I love challenge coins.
That's
And
cool.
then, yeah, then next month will be a new theme, but we don't announce that until the middle of the previous month. They're all secret on what it's going to be. So you can sign up for a whole year and join our awesome community. We call us Life Lovers, and to go out and try new things and get off the couch again, right? So it's fun. We have a really good time. So that's at liveyourlifeadventurechallenge.com.
I'll be sure to put the link to that into the description for this episode.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. No, it'll be fun.
Of course, put the link to your YouTube video. Your YouTube.
Thanks. I actually, you know what? I don't share my YouTube links.
No?
Because it messes up with the YouTube AI.
Okay.
So if you want it from my YouTube channel, you got to search Finding My Happy. Yeah, I know.
AI and everything. I have to get my son's approval.
I know. So, and if you're listening to this, you guys really have to check out PTSD Buddies. Like, it is an amazing Facebook group that Jamie's put together that helps all of us because there's always someone there. When you're going through PTSD, before I went to Wounded Warriors and found PTSD Buddies, I felt like I was absolutely alone and crazy for what I was going through. And I think that's, Jamie, what you do for the community is you make us realize we're not alone. And that is huge.
Yeah.
Right. So join PTSD Buddies because it is seriously, it's amazing. It's helped so many people, and we're a really great community to help each other and give each other resources. And it's not, always suggestions on how to fix you and stuff. We just listen.
Yeah,
I think it's a big thing.
There's some educated people about in that group about mental illness and mental wellness. Like,
yeah,
I used to go to Google with all my questions. If I got a question about PTSD now, I'll go to that group and you're getting real answers from real people who tried these things, right? Like,
yes. But you know what? The people in the group validate my feelings. And that's all I want is I just want to be heard and validated that, when I have a gun pointed at my face, maybe I should have arrested someone and I'm feeling like I'm about to die. And I think that was the problem with the staff sergeant. He didn't validate what I was feeling, which really the incongruence. So where's the incongruence? It
Yes.
messed me up. I
Yeah.
wasn't getting what I needed. I wasn't validated. And so that's where that confusion about that whole situation erupted and why it's one of the first big traumas that I remember that I've been dealing with. So just need to be validated. Just listen to me.
Well,
Right. So
you're amazing. You've only been a part of the group for a short time, and you have inspired so many members with your posts and your actions and
oh,
what you've
thanks.
done. There's one thing I want to mention too. You did the Tour de Rock 2016.
Yeah, that was hard. So Tour de Rocks 2016. So remember when I
That was
talked about how remember when I talked about how my sister's brother or my sister's husband said, "Hey, why don't you be a cop?"
right.
Well, he was also my mentor. His name was Mike Lawless. He died in 2014 from cancer. We're the same age. We actually went to basic training together in the military way
Oh,
back when
really?
in Abbotsford or in Chilliwack. So he died of cancer and it threw me for an absolute loop. His biggest thing that he did was called Tour de Rock. And what Tour de Rock is, it is a group of police officers. It's called Cops for Cancer, but now first responders. And we bicycle the entire length of Vancouver Island. And we raise money to send kids with cancer to camp and for cancer research.
Amazing.
So he was a huge part of that. You can Google his name, Michael Lawless. You'll see him in jerseys and everything like that. He was bigger than life. So I said, when he was fighting cancer, I said, okay, Mike, I'll ride Tour de Rock in your name. So I did it a year and a half after he died. And it was probably the hardest thing I have ever done in my life. And it wasn't the biking. First of all, I hate biking. Like I have not gotten on a bicycle since then. Like I do not like bicycles.
Right.
But it wasn't the biking because there was all the training. So the biking was no issue. It was hearing the stories of the parents with their kids for cancer, with kids with cancer, and how these kids are going through it and battling. And they actually don't even see you as a person because we're all wearing the same jerseys like police officers, right? They just want to tell you the story, hug you, and and we were a sense of, we're almost like a symbol of hope for these people, right? So after it was 2 weeks of biking and 2 weeks of hearing stories and 2 weeks of visiting like 5 to 6 places every day in these small communities all over Vancouver Island and going into schools with kids and meeting up with what we call our honorary riders, which are the kids fighting cancer. We would each have a couple honorary riders with us. I was done, like just absolutely done. Again, hardest thing I've ever done. So proud that I did it. I was quite smart about it because I booked myself a trip to Costa Rica with my family for a week after, and we left for a month. And I just needed to decompress and find myself again because during that whole ride for Tour de Rock and the training beforehand, all you're thinking of doing is Tour de Rock, and all you're thinking of doing is riding for these families who have kids with cancer. And my kids were that age.
Yeah.
Right. So all I see is these parents and how strong they are and how strong these kids are. And you're just taking in their stories and hugging and being to them that symbol of hope. But absolutely amazing experience. You can see it at tourderock.ca. What we do, we've done it every year. I think our team in 2016, we raised 1.2 million.
Wow.
Yeah. To send a
Holy
lot of kids
shit,
to camp.
Janis. Holy
Yeah.
shit, I got goosebumps, man.
Yeah, we were a small but mighty team, and none of us liked biking.
To hate biking and to do it, and
1,100
friends,
kilometers.
everything,
Yeah, 1,100 kilometers in 2 weeks.
gee whiz.
Yeah, and some of them are big mountains. Like Vancouver Island is not flat, Jamie. There's some
No,
big ass mountains out here.
man.
Yeah. So, but
And that
best
little
thing I've ever
seat.
done.
I don't know if my butt could take that little seat, man, for that long.
I've never used so much diaper cream since I was a baby. Trust me, it's a lot of diaper cream.
Oh man, I chipped
You
my
learn a
tooth
lot
the
of.
other day, and I'm like, I don't want to laugh on this podcast. People are going to see my chipped tooth, and all you've done is make me laugh this whole time.
I think you look so handsome, Jamie. It gives you a bit of personality.
Yeah, yeah. I feel
Yeah.
like I'm hosting the late night show.
There you go. See, you could
Yeah,
be a late night show comedian.
yeah.
But you know what, Jamie, I really appreciate this because you've helped me laugh, and I need this, right? A good laugh every day, because if not, you're just in your head,
Oh,
right?
I live to laugh.
Yeah, like today, I knew after I was talking to you that I would be tired and I'd kind of be a bit out of it, so I planned everything to not get off my boat today.
I'm actually a bit out of it today. My dog woke me up at 2 a.m. because it needed to go outside to do something.
You ever heard of a doggy door? Come on, get one
I
of those
did,
things.
yeah, I do, I do.
Oh, then why doesn't he go out?
Oh, I don't have one.
You need to get a doggy door.
Yeah,
I have an issue because unless there's snow on my deck,
mm,
right, which we had like 3 weeks ago, my dog won't pee on the boat. So I have to take her to shore. I actually found this little island off to my left over here, my port side, that I actually take her to the island. I nose my dinghy up, my small boat. She runs out, she pees. Hopefully she doesn't roll in some otter poop because then I gotta wash her. And I get her back off the island. But it's like the perfect island to poop on, I call it. It's the poop island. I know. Now you've got me going weird. Thanks. You got me right off my rocker.
yeah, the name stinks. No.
Uh, okay, what else are
Well,
we talking about?
well, Poop Island will stay afloat anyway. It should.
Oh, it's a pretty shitty island.
Do you find
I,
keeping busy as like you do is it's one of your coping mechanisms for PTSD?
it is. And my counselor's like, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. But I'm like, yeah, but it's called avoidance. I am the queen of avoidance, I call myself.
Yeah,
Right?
but
I
you're doing
don't
it
go
in a
into
fun
grocery
way.
stores. Pardon?
You're doing it in a fun way, though.
I think so. But sometimes when I stop and actually breathe, which I don't do very often, I tried meditation for 33 days. By the way, I suck at meditation. It was not good.
No.
No. But when I actually stop and think about it, I'm like, am I putting on a fake Janis
Hmm.
or is this the real me? Does that make sense? Like
It does.
sometimes when you go out there, you put on the
Yeah.
fake Jamie, right? Where you're all happy and go lucky all the time. But I'm like, but this is who I want to be. And I don't want everybody to see inside me all the time where it's like a big storm cloud half the time. And sometimes I just want to cry. Right.
Yeah.
So I put, I try to smile. When my mom was dying of cancer, my sister and I actually tattooed on her ankle rule number 8. Rule number 8 in our family is smile no matter what happens. Right? Because I think a smile will help you make you feel better. Right?
Yes.
So just get up in the morning and smile. Right? The other thing I do, and when I find with PTSD, there's things I really don't want to do. I am like a great procrastinator. But I've been listening to a book by Mel Robbins about the 5 second rule. And it's not the, drop food on the floor, pick it up, wipe off the dog hair and eat it in 5 seconds. It's if you get that impulse, that feeling's like, I should really get out of bed, then I count down. I go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, do it. And then I do it. Because if I get my mind thinking, I'm not going to do it. Right? It's like with this podcast. Okay. I kind of did not want to turn it on this morning.
Me too.
Right? Because I didn't want to talk about it.
Yep.
And this is the thing. But I 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 did and says, okay, I'm on. And I texted you on Facebook. It says, okay, I'm on. But I had to count myself down. And it's kind of like doing a rocket ship. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off.
Yep.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, do action. Because once I get going, like I'm having so much fun in just talking to you.
That's
Right?
the way I am. I find I'm like I don't want to do that because I don't think it's going to be any fun. But once I start doing it, well, I don't want it to end now.
It
My
does.
dad is
And
the same way. My dad is 83, and my dad only last few years learned what the word anxiety is. He said, "Oh, that's what I've had since I was 30." Oh, okay. Now I have a
yeah.
name for it. But my dad is like, someone will pull up in his driveway. He's like, "Who the f is that? Why is he
Where's my
Why is
shop
he
at?
here? What does he want? Oh God! Now he's gonna come in here, and I'm gonna room out. I gotta talk to him." So another person comes in. My dad's having a good time. My dad doesn't want the person to leave now.
I know.
This happens all the time because there's always people visiting my parents. Apparently, they told
Yeah.
me. So yeah, he goes
But
through
it
the same.
happens with PTSD too. Like there's things you do not want to do because you don't want to face it.
Yeah.
Right? It's like um this past weekend on Saturday I went to jewelry making class by myself. I never even brought a person with me, like one of my
And
people.
see,
Right? So I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I'm gonna do it. I had a great time. Of course, I had to pick where I was gonna sit and everything. I gave myself lots of room around people, and she gave the directions really fast. So I had to say, okay, you've got to. I can remember half of these directions, but then they're gone. Like you have to talk me through the rest because I just can't remember. Right, my prefrontal cortex. When my little lizard brain is on high anxiety, like it's really slamming me, going, "You're not safe, fight or flight, get out of there." Then it shuts down my prefrontal cortex and I can't think.
Yeah.
So because all I wanted to do was get out. But I did it. I stayed. I made myself 3 beautiful sterling steel or sterling silver stacking rings. I'm so proud of myself that I did it. So then
Yeah.
that's
There are
yeah,
people listening to this now going, can't believe she
oh
went
I
there by
know.
herself. By herself.
Yeah, it was really hard, but this is what I keep trying to do because I want to get back to how I was.
Mm, yeah.
Right. So I keep trying to do it and managing and yeah, I just keep pushing myself.
If
So
my
it's
wife is
exhausting.
I find it for me, if my wife is next to me, let's go. You need me to
No
get on
problem.
stage and share my story with 1 million people in the audience? No sweat. Let's go. I'll have fun with it. Right?
Yeah. Because
If
she's your
she's
person.
not there, everything seems heavy.
Yeah.
She
I'm the
doesn't
same
need
way with my husband.
or anything. She relaxes me.
Yeah, she's your rock.
Well, what it is if I get worked up, she's the one thing I know that can just lower it back down. If
Yeah,
that
because she's
makes
probably
sense.
used to all your shit now.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I really don't know how our husbands and wives stay with us.
No, I get scared too when she gets mad.
Yeah. My husband's really good now because I also can't be a passenger in a car. I have to drive.
Oh yeah, I'm the opposite.
Like I won't get in the car. I'm like, I have to drive.
I'm the
So
opposite.
he's so good now. He's like, but Janis, your driving sucks. I'm like, I don't care. I have to drive.
My wife likes to drive, but what I don't like about when the wife drives, if somebody cuts her off, the window could go down, and she could get angry, and it doesn't matter how big the person is. And I'm like, baby, that's a really big person, and he's not going to want to fight you. Okay,
You're gonna want to fight me.
so
Yeah.
can you stop calling them 4 letter words for a second? I'm not finished.
Yeah. So you don't like driving?
No, I
See?
was a driver for half of my career in the military, so driving just
Ah. Is it anything to do with your PTSD?
for my PTSD.
So
Uh,
not driving?
well, I like my dogs. I like fishing, nature.
Yeah.
I
But I'm
meditate.
wondering if but I'm wondering if you not wanting to drive is part of the PTSD.
Um,
You've never thought about it.
well, driving is a bit of a trigger.
Yeah.
If I'm on the highway driving, I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Right? I wouldn't have been a driver in the military if I didn't enjoy it. But when I get in the city and there's traffic and somebody cuts me off and gives me the finger and starts yelling, and I'm a soldier or used to be a soldier, and I know I could snap you in a two, and I got to just go and be nice because I don't like showing anger.
No.
If I show anger, I feel like I've lost that day. The anger won,
Yeah.
right?
You
Because
see,
anger
that
is
was
my
the
biggest
thing. But see, that was a funny thing. I don't usually show anger too, which when I was explaining what happened with me with the gun in my face, how angry I got was surprising. And the counselors at William Warded said it's actually good to let that anger flow through you. Just do it in a healthy way. Don't
thing. Yep.
take it out on a person and punch the lights out, right?
Hmm. No, I don't.
Because we're so good at shoving down our feelings and not letting our roller coaster feelings carry through. We don't let our we don't come to an emotional end. We shut it off halfway through, which is not healthy.
Yeah, I haven't been triggered in quite a long time.
Yeah. Do you
I
like
just
that term?
trigger. I
I
use
think
it
it's
because
getting used too much these days
I
by
use it
people who,
because people know it. Like I've had people come to me and say that we need to change the name post traumatic stress disorder. It needs to change
really?
to they want to change the disorder to syndrome, and then I heard it something else. Take it out altogether, so it's just PTS. And I understands everyone's opinion on that. My thing is we spent I don't know how many years now trying to put PTSD into people's heads. and we're
Yeah.
just finally getting somewhere. And now you want to
Don't
change
change
the
it.
name.
No.
I get the point, but you're bringing it back a little bit now, right?
Yeah. I do
It's not.
get pissed off though when people they go through something like so minor, they're like, oh my God, I have PTSD now. And they joke about it. Pisses me right off. Or when they're like the kids are starting to use the term, I find, oh, that is so triggering.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just,
Yeah.
they're throwing these terms around that mean so much to me.
Yep.
Like, that's what I explained to my daughter. I'm like, okay, you cannot say, oh, I have anxiety. You feel nervous about doing something, right? You feel anxious about it, but you don't have that diagnosis of anxiety. Does that make sense? I guess I get stuck on that sometimes. Like when people joke about it, oh, can't believe I saw that. Now I have PTSD. And I'm like,
Well,
"Grr."
I mean, no offense to nobody, but we're dealing with a new generation now,
Oh, we are.
and they let's just say they can take things differently than our generation does.
They do. And I think it's actually, I love this new generation coming up. I think they're great.
Oh, they have.
Yeah.
You know what? I think they're the same as every other generation. They have their good
Yeah.
points and bad points,
Yeah.
right?
This one, like, I love my son. He's 20, but he works enough money to live for a while and then he stops work and then he lives.
Yep.
And then he says, oh, I need some more money. He goes back to working. He's not I need money, I need money, I need money, I need to work, work, work. He's actually enjoying life. And he actually said to me as we're heading up to Skill, he's like, Mom, I am really happy with my life right now. I'm like, whoa. It's like I was almost a little bit jealous.
That's all a parent wants to hear, I think.
I know, isn't it crazy?
That's all I want from
So,
my kids. Be happy.
hey, are you wearing an Ellen sweatshirt?
It is, yep. Yep.
That is so cool.
I used to watch her all the time. She was actually medication.
Yeah, I can see that.
Her show was
Yeah.
medication.
Yeah.
Right?
If I'm right up the rail, I watch Bob Ross. I love Bob Ross's painting, This Happy Go Clouds.
Yes. I watched that
It's
too.
just, yeah, it's just relaxing to watch it. It just makes me happy.
Yep.
Yeah.
I watched that documentary on the Ross paintings and everything. I was a little shocked by all that.
No, I haven't watched that yet.
No,
No, I will.
it's sad.
Oh,
Well, it's not. I don't know. I don't know how to say it without giving a lot of it away.
don't give it away. I will watch it.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. So, no, do you have any other questions?
No, I don't feel like I had any questions. I just enjoyed the conversation.
That's it. You know what? An awesome conversation. I'm gonna have another cup of tea because I drink tea all day.
Yeah.
Because it keeps me present. It's like the warmth of the cup, the smell, and just it's like holding a hug.
Well, actually, that's one of the
Yeah.
grounding techniques that I have on my YouTube channel. Whenever I find a new grounding technique, I like to try it myself and put it on our YouTube channel.
Yeah. And tea.
And holding anything warm or running
Yep.
your hands under cold water. My
I can
favorite
see
was
that.
holding a piece of ice.
Holding a piece of ice.
Yeah, if you hold a piece of ice, all you can think about is that fucking piece of ice in your hand, freezing it. Everything else just kind of goes away. This fucking piece of ice.
Oh.
Yeah.
Just before Christmas, I tried the swimming in the cold water. I actually broke ice to go swimming. It was so weird. It felt so great afterwards though. But now I haven't done it since. The ice swimming, the Wim Hof method or whatever, right? It's like, yeah, I broke ice to go into the water and actually I didn't dunk my head, but I went right up to my neck. But it was yeah, it was cool. I'll do it as a YouTube video too, ice swimming. Maybe I'll do a challenge. I survived 7 days of ice swimming. Did it help my PTSD? Would that be a good title?
If you ever just decide to share those videos of your challenge, by all means, share them in our group.
Yeah.
I'm sure our members would probably make their own videos because you are definitely inspiring a lot of people, including myself, Janice. Thanks so much for talking to me today.
Yeah. Well, don't let PTSD control your life. Learn how to manage it and still live.
Yeah. You're an amazing
Right?
person, Janice.
Okay,
Stay
you
cool.
too, Jamie. What you've done for PTSD and for all of us is amazing. I really appreciate it.
Well, let's team up.
Okay.
I'm
We shall
definitely
do.
going to be following you on YouTube.
Oh, I see a collaboration. Let's do it. It'll be fun. We could challenge each other to something.
Well, I'm only over here in Alberta now, not that far away.
Well, we don't have to meet. We could do a challenge where you have to do it and I have to do it at the same time, and we'll bring the two videos together. See how we went.
Challenge accepted.
Challenge accepted. We just haven't figured it out yet, guys. you know what? This podcast is amazing. Please, please, please subscribe. Put your love in on Apple Music because it really helps getting this podcast out to more people. Throw down a comment below. I'm sure Jamie's going to answer. And share this podcast because if it's helped you, you probably know someone else that it's going to help. So send Jamie some love because he is really helping this community of PTSD survivors.
You know, I appreciate everything you're saying. I just had a thought myself. You know, we could always do a couple episodes together. Most podcasts have two hosts, so if you ever want to team do an episode together where we interview somebody, we could do that too.
That could be, as long as we don't talk over each other. I can see that happening. No.
All right.
Or just keep laughing. You're awesome, Jamie. Okay, right. Bye, guys. I love you all.
Take care. I'm gonna get a cup of tea myself.
There you go. Bye. Cheers.